Hey guys, as you can see, we're going to be looking at the Mezco Green Ranger today, and if you're watching this video, then obviously you're interested in buying it, so we're going to take a look at how he looks, as well as comparing him to the Lightning Collection Green Rangers, and I think I also have the Bandai one to take a look at too, and we'll also take a look at how he looks next to a bunch of the different Dragon Zords. So stick around and we're going to get right into it. Here's the box. Every Mezco comes in a plastic bag. Here it is without the plastic. Here's the back side, and really I feel like it's kind of lazy because the back looks pretty much just like the front, but we're just a little bit zoomed in, so nothing real special there. I don't know if I'd really even call it like kind of display quality, but generally Mezcos are meant to be taken out, so let's do that right now. Here's our Unpacked Green Ranger. It does come with a diagram of how to attach the accessory effects, as well as how to remove the shield. Otherwise, one neat thing is that the Blade Blaster actually can transform, so I'm actually really excited to see how that turns out. So yeah, we do have multiple layers, and then our second layer, I have a stand in here with a bunch of other accessories as well. So I was attempting to actually remove all of the plastic on the Green Ranger, put it back inside the packaging, and then kind of show them as is without all the plastic so it would look cooler, but that didn't really work out so well. The reason for that is because the plastic that's like in there and on, other than the one that's on the head, is not easily removable as is. I like to keep my plastic intact as much as possible, but it looks like the way they put it together, that's not really feasible. So you can see I did it on this side already, and I actually had to cut the plastic off. I just did it very carefully with a pair of scissors. I'm gonna do the same thing over on this side, as well as probably this one, unless I can kind of peel or, okay, well that one's not too bad, but I think that one probably, yeah, you can kind of see how it ripped along there in order for it to come out. Otherwise, I was also trying to remove the shield in order to be able to try to keep the plastic intact, but here we are. And here's our Green Ranger with all the plastic removed, and so far so good. Right off the bat, you can see that his holster is missing. It is in the box, but I just wanted to show you kind of how it is once you get the plastic removed. And I think this looks fantastic so far. Let's go to do a close-up. So taking a look at his morpher on the belt, looks really good. A lot of detail in there. Obviously, you can't get enough detail to actually see the words that you should normally see on the morpher, but that's an easy acceptable pass that I'm not that worried about. The boots look fantastic. You can see that, you know, it's got texture in there as if they are the actual boots that the actors wore in the show. That's really cool. We also have the black sole like it's supposed to have, so that's really great to see. Now, if you're not familiar with Mezco, you will see the stitching on the seams, and that's obviously not something that you would normally see on the actual costumes. So while that might be a little disappointing for some, this is kind of just the situation that we have. Until somebody figures out a better way to do it, this is what we got. And I would say that's okay. I think it still looks really, really good for what you're getting. Taking a look at the gloves, we can see a similar thing with the boots where you get some texture kind of look out of it, even though it is definitely hard plastic. And then of course the infamous dragon shield, and it looks really, really good on this guy. I do kind of wish that we would have gotten an American style dragon shield as well, because this is definitely much more akin to the Sentai version. But I'm not knocking it. I'm sure somebody's gonna make their own version that I can buy for hopefully not too much money. And then if I really want to, then I can have that. And then taking a look at the helmet, it looks really, really well done. I'm really impressed with that. It looks like I do have some QC problems with the helmet, so I might contact Mezco about that, but we will see. Hopefully that's not a common occurrence for other collectors, but that's a little bit of a bummer for mine. And considering how much that this costs and how much Mezco's cost in general, I would have hoped to have some better QC. Now, again, if you're not familiar with Mezco, they are clearly a premium brand and a premium product, so you're paying quite a bit more. But in comparison against the Hasbro Lightning Collection line, you're actually getting way, way more. So besides the fact that you're getting, you know, kind of the cloth suit and all that stuff, you're getting way, way more accessories than you're ever gonna get out of a Hasbro line, at least so far. So let's take a look at those accessories now. Starting with the top left, we have a civilian head for the Green Ranger. So if this is really supposed to look like Jason David Frank, I would say they didn't do a great job there. And for me, I think Mezco's kind of hit or miss with how accurate their face sculpts can be. Now, that's not to say it's a bad looking face. It actually looks really nice. It looks like a human. But in terms of the actual likeness to the actor, I'd say it's not there for me. Moving to our right side, we have the blade for the Blade Blaster, and the Blade Blaster does transform, so that's great. We of course have to have his Dragon Dagger. We have two different versions of his holster, and that's really cool to see. I actually wasn't expecting that, but that's nice. We have the Sword of Darkness, and then we have the Sword of Power, which I think might be from a storyline where they brought in the Green Rangers to help get the powers back for the main 5 Rangers. And then we've got a bunch of hands. It looks like we've got some standard hands that we would expect to have, as well as some hands that he would be using to grip the Dragon Dagger in order to play it. So that's really cool to see. In our second layer, we see mostly the energy effects pieces, but then we also have this gun thing right here. And according to Mezco, this is the Mega Heater. I don't remember what the storyline of that one is, but hey, I'm not gonna say no to another accessory. And I do like that on the stand that we're seeing the dragon coin. That looks good, it's well done. And I'm glad it's this one and not like the weird dragon head thing that they use on the chest of the old flip toy. So first I want to look at the 2 holsters, just because I do want to give him the Dragon Dagger soon. And it doesn't look like there's very much to it other than you just kind of stick it into his belt. So that's interesting. I think this holster is really meant for like when he doesn't have the shield and the bands, because then he would have the blade blaster instead of his dagger. Which is also why it has the cutout right here, because this is pretty much exactly the way it should look for the other 5 members. And then of course this is how it should look for his Dragon Dagger. And it's nice because we even get the little clip thing right here so that it can actually hold in the Dragon Dagger. And that's cool to see. And that's cool because I don't think we've ever seen that before on any of the toy versions that we've gotten at regular, like kind of mass retail. Here's our Dragon Dagger, and getting inside. That's how it would look with it all in there. And just so you can see, here's how it would appear in the other holster. And let's do the same for the Blade Blaster. So real quick with the Blade Blaster, by default, this is the standard form of it. And normally the blade will flip out, but this blade is actually something that you would attach right here. And that's also where you would attach one of the energy accessories to make it look like it's firing something. But that's how it would appear in blade mode. It's a little concerning because it's a very small piece. If you're pulling it out or putting it in and it's not going very easily, then just be careful. You might want to use a little bit of hot water to help make it malleable so that it goes in smoothly. Here's how it looks in our white holster. And even though that's not what it's designed for, here's how it would look in our Dragon Dagger holster. And there you are, our fully complete Green Ranger. And that's fun. That's super fun. I like that a lot. And it's funny because when Mezco revealed the regular 5 Power Rangers, the pictures that they revealed look terrible. They're partial renders, which is often what they do with their prototype looks. But if you look at them, and I'm gonna have pictures up on screen right now, it just looks really bad. But when they did the Green Ranger reveal, it looked much better. And I think it's because they actually had the figure complete and they had already had real pictures taken up, as opposed to how they have their regular Rangers look, where it's really just like CGI and just looks really, really bad. So if this is how the rest of the Rangers are gonna come out, I can definitely say that I would get them. But if they look anything like their pictures, then it would be a hard pass. So we'll see as we get closer to their release if I actually get them or not. But this is really, really cool so far. I'm really excited by this. Now I want to take a look at the Sword of Power first, since I don't think that we've gotten this before in our Hasbro line yet. And I'll do my best to find a picture of it from the show. And I think it looks cool. It's all right. I mean, this was a kind of a single purpose thing in the show. And so I can't imagine a whole lot of people wanting to pose their figure with this, but it's cool to have. So if you are in the market for a Mezco Green Ranger, then you're probably also looking at the other Green Rangers right here. So on our left side, we have the Bandai Legacy Green Ranger. This came out around the time that I actually started collecting toys again, which I think was probably around 2015, 2016 or so. And then we have our SH Figure Arts Green Ranger. This is a Lightning Collection Green Ranger. This is the main Green Ranger, not the first Green Ranger that came out in the line, but the main one. And then finally, we have our remastered Green Ranger. And then, of course, we also do want to take a quick look at the original Bandai flip head Green Ranger just to kind of see them all together. And obviously, this is more of a nostalgic purchase if you're going to do that. And the others are more about representing the Green Ranger. So I do want to look at the civilian heads, but before I do, I want to bring out our Spirit Green Ranger, which was the first Green Ranger we got in the Lightning Collection line. And that's primarily because I also want to show his civilian head too. So let's go ahead and pull out the Lightning Collection heads. Here are all 3 of the Lightning Collection heads. I think that this one to the left has the best likeness of Jason David Frank. And then here is our Mezco Jason David Frank head as well. And really, I think kind of all of them really don't look that much like him, with still the left one being the most like him. Additionally, there was a release of the SHF Figure Arts that came with a civilian Tommy head. I don't have that, but what I'll do right now is I'm going to put these up, and then I'll do my best to find a picture of that online that you can see compared to the rest of these. So now we're going to take a look at the differences between the different Swords of Darkness. So starting with our left-hand side, we have the Bandai version of the Sword of Darkness, and it looks okay, but let's see how it compares next to our SH Figure Arts. And I would say, besides the obvious size difference, the SH Figure Arts looks much better. It has the white handle, it's got the red tassel. This one doesn't even have the tassel at all. The gem for the red is actually transparent. You can kind of see my finger going back and forth. Bandai one is just painted, so definitely much better there. And then if we compare the Lightning Collection one against the SH Figure Arts and our Bandai one, you can see that it's a pretty good cross between the two, because the Figure Arts one at retail is more expensive than the Lightning one. So it's nice that we do have the tassel here, and then our white handle, even though we don't have the gold trim like the Figure Arts one does. And then our gem here is painted similar to the Bandai one. And finally, our Mezco one. So the Mezco one, I would say, is definitely the nicest of them all, of course. And so this is the first time that we have a tassel that actually can move, which is really cool. We have our white handle, although we don't have the gold trim, so that's not great, but still looks really good. I wish we did have the gem the way we do have the gem on the SH Figure Arts, but there you go. And otherwise, it looks really, really good. I think having the articulated tassel is really the best part of Sword of Darkness for the Mezco version. And here's the end of the blade for each of them, and they all look approximately the same. Here's how the Mezco Green Ranger looks next to the Dragon Caesar, which came out in America as the Dragon Zord. They're effectively the same thing. Here he is next to the Super 7 Dragon Zord, and I do have a whole video breaking down why I think this is a terrible release. Here he is next to the Super Mini Plod Dragon Zord, it's like a little baby. And here is Hasbro's Zap Dragon Zord. Here is the Soul of Chogokin Dragon Zord next to our Mezco Green Ranger. And finally, last but not least, and actually my favorite Dragon Zord so far, is the Bandai Legacy Dragon Zord. And that's how the Mezco Green Ranger looks like next to all of the different Dragon Zords. And if you like this video, then you should probably check out my Super 7 Dragon Zord review right over here.